and you're watching Alice Cooks Indian. Today I'm going to be making Saffron Malai Kofta. This is a rich and creamy dish and it's really popular. You'll find it on the menu of almost every Indian restaurant. I'm going to be using an additional element of saffron which I think takes this dish to the next level. So let's get going. So there's two parts to this dish. There's the koftas, which are your potato and paneer dumplings, and then there's this smooth and creamy gravy. So we'll start by making the gravy. For this, you'll be needing double the amount of tomatoes to onions. So I've got 1 large onion and 2 tomatoes. Then I've got about 1 inch of ginger, roughly chopped, and 1 chilli. I've got about 5 garlic cloves, and 8 to 10 cashew nuts, which are going to give this really nice nutty flavour. Then I've got some whole spices as well, which I'll be using. They're going to infuse their flavour into the oil. It's going to be really nice. I've got 1 cinnamon stick, 1 bay leaf, 1 large black cardamom, 3 green cardamoms, and 3 cloves. So I've got some oil which is heated up in a pan, and I'm going to start by adding all of my whole spices. Lovely. They're going to infuse their flavour into the oil. Then I'm going to follow this by 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds. Just let that sizzle for 5 or 10 seconds. And then I'm going to add my onion. And I'm also going to add my garlic and my ginger. Now don't worry about how big these pieces are. We're going to be blending this later. I'm going to let this saute for about 2 minutes before adding the tomatoes. So my onions have been sweating for about 2 minutes, and now I'm going to add my tomatoes. Lovely. You can see that I'm adding the chilli as well at this stage. And I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt, which is just going to help break down the tomatoes a lot quicker. Give this a rough stir. And then I'm going to add 1.5 cup of water. Lovely. Just give it a bit of a stir. I'll also be adding the cashew nuts at this stage. Just stir them in. And then I'm going to add the lid on. And then I'll be cooking until the tomatoes are soft and mushy. So let's take a look. You can see that the tomatoes have broken down really nicely, and also the cashew nuts would have got a lot softer by now. This process has taken about 10 minutes, and now we're ready to turn off the heat. So this is just going to cool down before we blend. But firstly, I'd like to take out some of the whole spices. I'll be taking out the bay leaf, and I'll be taking out the black cardamom and the cinnamon stick. These have done their job. They've infused their aroma into the dish, but we don't want to leave them in because we don't want them to give a dark colour to our gravy. We want to retain this really nice orange colour. There we go, lovely. So while this is cooling down, we can look at making our koftas. For this, we'll be needing 1 cup of mashed potato, 1.5 cups of grated paneer. I've got 1 finely chopped chilli, about 1 teaspoon of ginger, some fresh coriander, and then I'll be using 1 or 2 tablespoons of corn flour just to make sure that the mixture binds together really nicely. So to make our koftas, I'm going to start by adding the paneer. and also the potato. So just keep the quantity of paneer slightly more, if not equal to the quantity of potato. I'm going to add my chili, my ginger, and my coriander. I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. Lovely. Now just give this a rough mix to see what the consistency is like, and that will let us know how much corn flour we're going to add. So you can add corn flour as required. I think 2 tablespoons should do it for me. And then you can start mixing with your hands. Just get this to bind together like a dough, and then you'll be able to form balls with this. So I'm happy with the consistency of this mixture. We should be able to form balls nicely. Now you'll notice that I didn't add any spices into this mixture. That's because we want to keep it simple. Lots of the flavour is going to be in the gravy, and these are going to complement each other perfectly. So let's form our kofta balls while the oil is heating up. Form a nice even ball and then put it to my plate, and then repeat with the rest of the mixture. So my oil is heated up, and now I'm just going to carefully place my kofta balls into the oil. Lovely. Now we're just going to fry evenly on all sides. Wonderful. Now what we're looking for is a nice brown layer on the outside. Make sure that your oil isn't too hot, because otherwise it will get too dark too quickly on the outside, but it'll still be raw on the inside. So you can see that they're beautifully golden brown. I'm just going to take them out on a kitchen paper so that any excess oil can be released. Wonderful. And then I'm just going to repeat with the rest of my kofta balls. So my kofta balls are ready. Just look how tempting they look. I really wish I could bite into it right now, but we're not going to do that. We're going to wait for the gravy first, and it's going to be amazing. So my mixture has cooled down enough, and I'm just going to blend this to a fine puree. So my pan has heated up again, and I'm going to add some butter, and also about a tablespoon of oil to make sure that the butter doesn't burn. And now I'm going to add my blended mixture. Now you can see that I'm sieving mine. This is optional, but I do recommend it to make sure that you get that restaurant style silky smooth consistency. Wonderful. So you can see that it's all sieved through perfectly. We're just going to discard this. So I've sieved my mixture, and now we're going to add some spices. Half a teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, and 1 teaspoon of coriander powder. Wonderful, and just combine. There's no need to add salt because we've already done that beforehand. So we're going to let our gravy cook along with our spices for 2 to 3 minutes on a low flame. And this will just let all of the flavours get incorporated. In the meantime, we're going to prepare some saffron infused water. So for this, I've got half a cup of warm water, and I'm going to add about 8 to 10 strands of saffron. Wonderful. So you'll see that in about 2 to 3 minutes, this water will become yellow and the flavors would have infused really nicely. Now you can tell that I haven't used that much. We want to use saffron in moderation because the flavor can be quite overpowering. So it's only been a few seconds and you can already see some of the color starting to come out into the water. You can just give this a little bit of a rub with your fingers and this will help the flavor just release quicker. Now you can prepare malai kofta without the saffron, but I tried saffron malai kofta at a restaurant in India once and it was so delicious that I've been preparing with saffron ever since. So my mixture has been cooking for about 3 or 4 minutes and now I'm going to add my saffron infused water. Lovely. And I'm also going to crush about a teaspoon of fenugreek leaves. These are dried fenugreek leaves and they're going to add a really delicious flavour. Now I'm going to let this cook for another 2 or 3 minutes so that this saffron flavour can get infused into the gravy. So our gravy is looking really beautiful. Now I'm going to add just 1 or 2 tablespoons of cream. This is going to add a real richness to the dish. Now you don't need to cook for too long after the cream is added. I'm just going to let it cook for probably 1 minute and then our gravy will be ready. So my gravy is now ready. I'm just going to switch off the heat and pour it into my bowl. It is looking absolutely beautiful. So now I'm just going to place my kofta balls into the gravy. Wonderful. And the cream will just finish this dish off perfectly. Amazing. This is really something special. And the saffron just gives it that high-end touch. Be sure to try this and let me know how it goes for you in the comments. Give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more authentic Indian recipes. See you next time. Bye bye.